Dumelang, hello, and bonjour. Welcome to SECHABA. Are You Listening? Your 10-episode jam-packed conversation about women's issues in Botswana and globally. Brought to you by the French Embassy of Botswana and Mebala Youth Studios. My name is Moronga Mosetli. I am your host. Uncensored, unhinged, sugar junkie person, I am a bit on the wild side. I am hoping you're learning that as we go through this podcast. I'm here with my brother TK. Hi, bro.
You mean Buffy?
Oh, yes. Okay, fine. Now that I'm allowed to tell the people, I'm here with my brother Buffy. Hey, bro.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
And I'm also here with our wonderful guest today, Miss Yvonne Mooka. She is a journalist of note, and today we're going to be talking about women in the media. Not just our actual journalists, radio presenters, hosts in the media, but also the actual women who are being portrayed. There seems to be this thing of where there's a male-centric situation, the women are not being handled with care, they're not being handled with respect. But then there's a lot of stories where it seems like the woman is always the villain, that there's something wrong in how we are inherently doing things that whenever there's a story about us, there always has to be like a little catch. Oh, she slept with her boss. Oh, she happened to buy her way into this. It's never our own personal merit. And I'm hoping today, Yvonne, you can help us see the kinds of issues that are in the media world for women, but also maybe help us unpack why it's happening. And maybe we can give our viewers at home some solutions on how we can also begin showing women in the light of who they truly are. But let me not take too much of everybody's time. I would like you to please let the viewers know just briefly who exactly you are and what it is you do for a living so that they actually can connect with you.
Thank you very much, Buffy and Mo.
Thank you.
Hello, viewers. My name is Yvonne Mooka. I'm an international journalist. I work for Botswana Guardian and the Midweek Sun from 2010 until 2020. And then decided to join the BBC, New York Times, and Reporters Without Borders as a correspondent from Botswana. But I also work with other international organizations. I also speak, I do training and consultancy on media issues. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to this conversation.
Lovely having you.
Wow, it's great to have you. I knew you were an international journalist, but right now I'm very, very, very excited because my grandmother worked for the BBC, so I feel like I'm connecting with her like in this other way. My grandmother, she worked for the BBC. She went on Radio Botswana. She's actually the first person to have created our educational program. So this is me sort of following in her footsteps and like having you here personally right now. It's like, Gooks, we made it. I know like you've passed on and you can't see this moment, but Gooks, we've made it, okay? We've made it. We're here together.
Beautiful.
Thank you for being here. May I please start by asking, from your experience, what have you seen about how women in the media are treated when they are actually in the industry and working for the industry? And then how we are written about even as just external people, like for example, a female CEO, maybe the first CEO of a high-flying company, may often be portrayed as having slept with somebody for that job or having given up her sense of womanhood in order to be in this male-centric thing. Like, where's your sense of motherhood? Where's your sense of wifedom? Why are you here in this high-powered job instead of at home? May you just touch into those little things about how you as journalists and media practitioners are treated, but also how stories about us are being told.
Okay, mine is a story of a village girl who came to Gaborone for the first time to study media studies, journalism and public relations.
Yes.
And then before I graduated, I was already working. And where I was working, there were lots and lots of men, and older men for that matter. And I no longer call the industry male-dominated. I just call it male-populated because it's just the population. But for me to give them dominion, that's not it. You know, sexual harassment is something else. We don't really talk about it because you believe for it to happen, there must have been a sexual act.
Yes.
But there's a lot of staring and leering and being shown content that does not make you comfortable.
Yes.
You on the receiving end. So this is me 5 years into the profession. This is what I saw.
Wow.
Then also, the representation part. Women's voices for the longest time were unheard.
Yeah.
If you are doing well outside, let me say as a corporate, they have to know first who is your husband. You know, if you are Morungwa, what's your surname again?
Musetli.
They want to know who is Brian Musetli.
Oh,
And then they're going to say, you know, it's just an example. They're going to say, Morungwa Musetli, the wife of so and so. So this was the narrative like back in the day. And it wasn't easy changing this narrative. Because this is an amazing podcast that speaks into issues of national interest. Women issues. When you talk politics, you talk any other sector, women are underrepresented. And women don't even see the power that they have. So I've seen a young girl in the media joining and then 3 months into it, they quit. Not because of the pressure, because there's someone whose ego, you know, power imbalances, tells them that they can control you. Like for you to qualify as a journalist, you have to sleep with them. It's very sad. But not just on the issue of sexual harassment, but also payment issues. Back in the day, women were getting paid less than men. You know why? Because I studied journalism like holistically. Business reporting,
Yes.
Investigative journalism, where I investigate, you know, corrupt ministers and even the president. But when it comes to me studying in the newsroom, I'm given insignificant bids. This is what we're talking about. You're going to review an artist. Take this CD, review the artist. You know, go to this show. You can't do this story. No, it's risky for you. Plus, you're a woman. You know, you can't travel to Saroa to investigate a story for 3 weeks or 3 months, you know.
That is
You
so
can't do a land story, you know. Write fashion stories, you know. Look at your nice earrings, Morunga. So a female journalist has to be the one writing about Morunga's business. But I mean, I'm doing politics. So obviously this affects what payment issues.
Yeah.
So here is the point. Payment issues, sexual harassment. I even wrote an article on that. Female journalists are abused. You know, female journalists are heavily abused. Rebo Maskanta, Redis Captain. I know what it means to travel to the road to cover a passion killing incident. I'm with a photographer. I'm not going to name any name. I'm not going to name and shame.
Yeah.
And then along the way, go Palape, Ratana filling station. You are thinking, oh, this guy is getting a Red Bull, and then he's getting condoms, dude. For who?
That's a
and
good
then
question.
people are checking you out. Okay, he's getting some tonight. They're looking at you. You know,
because ostoko no.
Exactly. Was captini.
Yeah, just easy to carry.
So
basically.
such things happen. So it was hard when we started, but now, you know, we see a lot of change thanks to organizations like Women in News, Gender Links, and women are becoming more and more empowered. And now we see even when it comes to ownership, we've got women owning, though there are not many. But there's still noticeable progress.
Yes.
We've got women editors like the likes of Emang. I'm naming them because
we need to know them.
Trifina, Emang, Mambazo.
Yeah, boy.
Even Yvonne Mooka. You know, we are doing well. You know what I mean?
You are.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a ray of hope.
Yeah. I did not know that. I mean, I'm a creative, and I know even in the creative industry, because I'm a performing artist and a poet, I've seen it on the outskirts, but I have enough male friends that they really have done their best to keep me protected. I mean, even just having TK at the office, if there's somebody weird, he's the first person to say, nah, I'm going to go check this out. Ladies,
That's good.
sit aside, please. And none of our male colleagues would leave us to go take care of something weird. However, I have heard these stories, but have not really put as much weight as I should have into them. And at some point, I'd said to myself, and I'd even said to my parents, I want to go to Rhodes. I want to study journalism. I want to go to your Congos, your Syrias. I want to cover these stories. I want to tell real human stories. I would not have survived.
Yeah.
I can honestly
Maybe you
very
would
say
have.
that.
I have.
I mean,
Maybe you
I
would
think, no, considering myself in my 20s, because at that time there was a lot of mental pressure and I fell into depression. So I'm imagining that if my first job, because it was your typical male-dominated environment, there was no sexual harassment, but I always felt like I can't leave work at 5 because my boss will get mad. I can't arrive after 8 because my boss will get mad. Small things like, well, if you leave at 5, I'm going to borrow $100 off your paycheck. And he's not actually going to take it out of my paycheck. He's going to take it out of my bonus in December because I can't dictate how he pays me my bonus. So if I imagine myself in that situation, plus the sexual harassment, I don't know if your typical timid Setswana girl is really prepared for that. Like it feels like a good way to break a human spirit.
Yeah, okay. Women are not tea makers in the office.
Sure.
You went to school.
Yes.
When the teacher was marking or the lecturer, he didn't take into any consideration that you're a man or woman.
Yes.
And I don't have the statistics, but it shows that when it comes to academics, women do well.
Yeah.
But this thing of I'm a woman, or you are a woman, because sometimes it's not you telling yourself that you're a woman. It's the other gender reminding you that you have to be soft,
Yes,
to be feminine.
Yeah.
The definition of
Submissive.
femininity in the workplace is meant to annoy you or to intimidate you so that you shrink.
Yes.
And then also this thing of the biological clock ticking. You know, a lot of women are now
conversation.
just running with this biological clock ticking.
Yeah.
I want to get married, I want to have kids. All that is fine. But don't neglect your career at the expense of your biological clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, you can survive the sexual harassment. Just, stick to what you believe in, be self-empowered, and make sure that you are your sister's keeper. Because the girls after you are having it hard. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mentor a lot of young girls who are journalists. Some of them don't make it, but a lot of them are still pushing and they're doing well and they're winning awards. Yeah.
You know, Yvonne, you mentioned something interesting. You said that you have now organizations like Women in News, and these organizations are helping women. Do you think that also the reduced cases of sexual harassment is also due to the fear of being exposed by these organizations, as opposed to a change in mindset? Because I'm also seeing a patriarchal kind of system in the workplace, especially in the creative space, and how, other than having these organizations kind of rally for women, what else can be done by someone who here in Botswana is experiencing sexual harassment that is now also affecting maybe even their mental health, as well as, like you mentioned, you've mentored some young women who some might have not even made it, not because they were weak, but it's because of what they were experiencing at work. So what message would you maybe give some of the young women aspiring to join your field who are empowered by your successes as well?
Yeah, organizations like Women in News and ONIFRA, and Gender Links, we are obviously speaking out. We allow and we encourage young girls to speak out, about issues that are facing in the media.
Okay.
It's not an easy industry. Like where I was working, every week I was expected to produce 6 articles,
Ooh.
and not just 6, quality.
Yo.
So
One for every day.
if you are gullible, you become prey to these CEOs, ministers, these artists
Yeah. The
that are
people
going
with
to
some
give you an
power.
interview for sex. So organizations like Women in News are helping because For the longest time, newsrooms didn't have policies on sexual harassment.
Oh, wow.
I've been bullied. Dude.
Wait, and
I had trended for wrong reasons.
just for our viewers, so that they know how far back this was.
Okay.
When was this? When you first started?
Okay, I joined the industry officially in 2010. But even when I was at tertiary, I was working part-time.
In 2010, we didn't have
This
policies.
was just yesterday.
And we didn't have policies on nothing.
Sexual harassment of
Yeah.
all the things that
Yeah,
we could
that's
not
why
have
that's
a
why they were
policy
asked to
on.
make tea so that they can show their curves and you come to your boss
Wow.
with this tea or with
In your cute little
Wow.
pencil skirt
Yeah,
and your hair
you know,
here.
'cause you entertain
y'all are
his-
cute when
his
you
eyes,
dress up. Yeah.
I think, because we are on SECHABA, I'm hoping also the men are listening.
They better.
And they also hear the role they're playing in making our counterparts uncomfortable
Yeah.
in so many instances, and also contributing to some people actually neglecting their dreams just because
true.
you feel like you're
Abubu, did you do
entitled to.
better?
Because as she was explaining the story, I was thinking this was 19 something.
I mean, I could see why you would think that, but we also have to remember that it was literally just in the 80s or 90s that a Motswana woman could have her own bank account, register at birth for tax by herself. Before then, it went to my TK there. Just, Baba, can I please give me 500 from my salary there? Yeah,
but
that's
we
how
still
it
have
used
a
to
long way
be.
to go. We still have to empower men.
Yeah.
We cannot just talk to the women and motivate them and leave the men behind.
Yeah.
We've got amazing men out there who are actually rooting for women, who know what it means to be under a female supervision without saying, "Oh, you're a woman."
Yeah. No, that is very, very true. Like TK, I am hoping that my brothers are listening, because as she was speaking, I'm remembering this post I saw probably just this past week. And I'm sure a lot of us have seen it on Facebook. Would you leave your sister, wife, mother, the female in your life? Would you leave them alone in the woods with a bear or a man? Most of us took the bear because we know what to expect from the bear. Even Bo brother were like, "Yo, my poor sister, I'm going to leave you with the bear because I know what to expect from the bear." And that just goes to show me, at least, that we all know that there's some kind of power struggle between men and women, but we're not doing as much as we can about it. So everybody at home, if you're listening, SECHABA, let's please get together and do something about it. But for 2 minutes, step outside, repota ka kwa Rabua on SECHABA. Are you listening? Welcome back to SECHABA. Are you listening? I'm still here with TK and Yvonne. We, in our previous segment, learned that the media industry is, or has been previously, shady. And we are now trying to overturn things. However, there's something that I've noticed when I'm reading stories. As you said earlier on, oftentimes you can find a CEO being covered, but we have to know who her husband is. We have to know how she got the job. Sometimes it might not be on merit. But then similarly, you can find that, for example, it's perfectly fine for your male artist to walk around in his Calvin Kleins and do a photo shoot that way, maybe even at his show, just psh, with the water, and it's accepted. One specific incident that I can think about, local news, just your regular newspaper, I think it was last year, man killed his girlfriend. It was a passion killing because she was cheating. Woman murders boyfriend. It was not a passion killing. He was not cheating, but somehow she's more of a villain than the man who killed the girlfriend in that sort of sensational vibe. So in the way media is being taught in schools, is there something that suggests that women should be portrayed this way and men should be portrayed this way? Or is it just a practice thing once you get into certain spaces in the media?
Thank you very much for that intelligent question. In journalism, we've got what we call ABC, accuracy, balance, and clarity. And there is no male or female to it.
Oh, okay.
Let's look at the culture.
Emma.
Ya rona e la Batswana.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
borre ke ditlhogo, men are heads.
Yeah, yeah.
Even those that are not married are heads. Even those that are
Yes.
working with you see themselves as your head.
Yes.
You see, even those that are journalists see themselves as heads of women that they're writing about. You don't know this woman. She's a CEO, but already you want to shrink her.
Yeah.
You see, so as culture is patriarchy,
Yeah.
the definition of femininity or, womanhood is so tainted.
Yeah.
You know, they don't see a woman as someone who should be celebrated. Like I said earlier, it's changing. It's changing. It's worth
Slowly.
being commendable.
Slowly
you
but
know.
surely.
But look at women in politics.
Emma.
Just yesterday, I was going through, I think she's the secretary of the BCP, Dr. Peko.
Emma.
Someone who is a popular social media influencer. Yes. Pseudonym. Talked about her divorce and how she should not be voted because she left her husband and the husband lost his, he became mentally unstable. So this is her fault. And then she had to explain herself. So this person was even said, don't vote for her. She's this wicked, So unfortunately, this is the narrative that some people choose to choose.
Yeah, yeah.
And sadly, it gives direction to who is going to be voted.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to name
especially if you have a large audience.
There's
no way to fact
it's
check.
very easy to mosadi go dira mosadi.
Yeah.
O mo ira ngwana hela kana mosadi ya bana depressed.
Yeah.
I said in 2018, I went through something after writing a very good story that sold a newspaper like hot potatoes. I became a target to online bullying, cyberbullying. Someone was used to assassinate my character.
Your credibility.
I was hurt.
Yeah.
Psychologically, emotionally, and otherwise. So a woman as soon as this person who has to be discouraged.
Yeah.
But thank God for newspapers like the Patriot. They've got the Patriot magazine.
Yeah.
Where the Patriot Woman magazine. Their focus is strictly women. They celebrate women.
Yeah.
CEOs and
Shout out
founders.
Patriot.
Shout out to you, Mr. Dibella, Mr. Ditiro Matlabani. You're doing well. And also the likes of Emma. Us having women leading newsrooms now.
Yeah. That's true.
But for the longest time, it was hard. Look at Bouncy. She's very good. Look at the late Mrs. Hip Hop. Such a class.
Yes.
How many people tried to...
In her death,
you know what I mean?
We didn't treat her well in her death. We really didn't.
Sometimes I read on social media people trying to celebrate. I'm like, man, I know in 2018 when I did the story where she was complaining about being called the B word and people, using every other ugly name to describe her.
Yeah.
And now she's no more in the thinking, let's celebrate her. Yeah, but when you look at her, this is a woman who has worked in South Africa with the likes of Fat Joe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She
worked hard.
Botswana on
Look
the
at
map.
Very Hard. Let's talk about Very Hard. She's an intellectual.
Yeah,
She's
but
a
we also
creative.
keep going back to how she started. I know her specifically for a very long time. Even today, there's a lot of people who still say, "Leraolo sa tswa lengo na bua dilo ka presidente," and I don't think that's fair because she's really made a name for herself.
Yeah,
At this
it's a perception
point,
that some people have created. She's doing well. She's doing so well. She's a businesswoman. She's a mother. Why are we quiet now? She wears long dresses now because she's covering. Is that the kind of woman we want?
Yeah.
So listening to both of you speaking,
allow Bouncy to twerk. I saw someone had tried to diminish her light when not too long ago, saying she's not a very good singer. She is. Bouncy, you are the girl.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. We're rooting for you, girl.
That's true.
So Yvonne, from what you've just said, you mentioned that you exposed a prophet, a false prophet, right? And there was slander, a character assassination that followed, online bullying that followed. And now I'm also now thinking that had you exposed a prophet, from just what you were just talking about, how women are also attacked for their successes, do you think if you had exposed a false prophetess, you would have received the same backlash. Or people would have celebrated you for exposing.
No, they were going to come for her.
They were going to go for her, right?
For her, not me. Yeah.
So because now I'm also seeing that in media, the problem is not only just the outlets, it's also us, the society, that are perpetuating this constant patriarchal, masculine kind of behavior that, okay, like you're saying, a woman mustn't be celebrated. So when a woman beats down another woman, we should celebrate it to say, yes, you're doing something right by society. But when you come after a man, it's now a thing of whether they're wrong or right, guilty or innocent, we must come after you for exposing the truth. So is that a thing maybe you feel like is also stopping women from speaking out because they know how us men are going to then treat them after having shared their stories, even if they go to, let's say, women in news or whatever story they're going to share? Do you think there's that fear?
Patriarchy, bullying of any sort, silences women. It makes them censor themselves. You don't operate at your highest level. Look at social media, how powerful it is. People kill themselves because of what is happening there. People are depressed because of social media. These days they don't even care about newspapers and radio.
No.
There's always this person who's known to expose people or the racists.
As they like to call them.
Racists. Shots.
Them.
Revenge porn. Who is always the target? Woman.
We're still going to talk crap about your makadzis who are doing it as part of their show.
Yeah, she's dancing to the rhythm of her song, and she's good at it, but you want to sexualize her, you want to give her the B word, H word, W word, and just so she can stop it.
That's very, very true. But then, Sintle, what is it about us that says, even just as a society, outside of the patriarchy, like I feel like I should be able to feel bad. But at the same time, even me, I can see some of these things and like not do anything about it. And the truth of the matter is that by doing nothing specific about it, I'm actually part of the problem.
Yes.
So now, for those of us who are also on the outskirts, not necessarily, it's not like we don't want to talk because we're afraid of backlash, but at the same time, it feels like we don't have a place to say, she's still a person, she's still a human. How do we now start being comfortable with just us on the outside? Makazi's a woman, she's a human, she bleeds like you do. Can you not talk about her like that?
Yeah. We need people like you and I that are going to tell you you're doing well and keep doing what you're doing. And we need to encourage Makazi. Pat her on the back. You are doing well. Keep talking. She needs to also herself. She must be self-assertive, self-empowered. She must be unstoppable.
And how do you get to that level of that self-empowerment? Because I feel like it's also, having dealt in the mental health sphere, it's very difficult for some people to achieve that. What would you recommend maybe to some of the people watching in order to reach maybe something that worked for you yourself?
I still do therapy at the age of 39. Because I used to think I'm strong. There are people that think I'm strong out there, But I realized that I've got many battles. I've got many wounds that I have to address as a woman, raised by a single mother, from a poor family, who has gone through some stuff in life. But for me to keep this posture of self-confidence, sitting down with internationalists and, I have to ensure that I'm in the right place. I'm not going to come and be intimidated by anyone. Be intentional about your self-growth and personal development.
Having a community also helps.
Have a community. Have your own tribe, Sometimes it's not even your family. You create your own family.
That's true. That's true.
That is very, very true. I really like what you said about therapy, because there are so many of us in Botswana and in the global world that'll say, ora so you mean that, fake ass, I'm sad nonsense. Guys, mental health is a real reality. For those of you that used to catch me on Gabs FM, you need to know that your mental health, like if your brain is not well, it's going to make your body physically ill. It's very possible for your high blood pressure, your heart diseases, your stomach problems to be caused by something as tiny as stress. Just your lack of coping ability with your everyday life can cause you to have some long-term chronic problems.
Yeah.
And therapy's job is not to fix you. It's not to change you. It's to help you cope. It's to give you an objective opinion on the things you're going through, to show you that, Sanka, how one? Okay, there's how many people are in the world?
Isn't now 7 billion at this point?
Yeah. Do you hear how many? 7 billion people. And you're going to be worried about the 2 million in Botswana. Aibo, please go to therapy and keep it pushing, okay?
And let's do our with the stigma. If you need to go to South Brana just for counseling.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank
Let's
you.
do it with the stigma.
Yeah. Everybody with Sabrana is a psychological hospital. So yes, there are people with serious psychological issues that cannot be reintegrated into society due to their mental issues. But again, their brain is broken. They don't have enough serotonin. They don't have enough of all of those fancy chemicals that keep the brain functioning. It's like a computer. If you're not updating your malware, if you're not updating your software, if you're not making sure the hinges are okay, guess what's going to happen? The thing is going to shut down. Same with your brain. If the things are not moving like they should, you go get help. That's just what you're supposed to do.
It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, basically. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And I think for every woman out there, because we're told that our emotions are what is wrong with us, I think you also need to start looking into the fact that not all of your emotions are born from some sort of psychotic thing going on with you. Some of it is hormonal, like the physical changes going on in your body also emotionally affect you. They mentally affect you. You need, as a woman, to learn to cope with these things in a way that helps you function at your optimum. I'm not sure how far we are to go in the media, but is there any advice that you can give to, I guess, my Form 5 year, no? Because this year we have a lot of Form 5s. This year we're voting. This year there's a lot of things that are happening. And I think this current generation, my 2000, they are the ones who are going to be taking up this baton. And they are the ones who are going to have to run with it. What can you tell them in order to help them persevere so that kamoso they feel like, nah, Yvonne said, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you can do it. Yes, you can. You need mentorship. You know, for you to get somewhere in life, you need someone who's going to hold your hand.
Yeah.
This is not your friend.
Yes, thank
don't
you.
be too familiar, because familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah.
This person is meant to give you direction in life.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not your friend. Don't be too familiar with them. And also, I was doing a research on CAT. I don't know what it stands for. I forgot.
That's
Yeah, this,
like the
drug.
yeah.
okay.
I've been doing a research, going to places where a lot of young people in my 2000 are. It's a sorry sight. Some of them are children from well-off families. Ministers' children. They sleep there. They relieve themselves there. Some of these warehouses in town, you know. It's a sorry sight. So now we need to be intentional about mentoring them. Even if they don't come to you more, Buffy, please pick at least one person.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
TK, one person. Or when I'm going to jealously guard what you carry,
Yes.
because I can see where you're going. All these great people, the Obamas, they've got people that they look up to.
That
People
mental
telling
plan.
them, out there you are Oprah, but here, just learn, be teachable. Yeah. You know, this is where we should start, parenting. You know, we've got a lot of dysfunction.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why Wana had an abonamadi for the first time. Go you be here, no. You know, Kanabala from 5. Hey,
That was me and my friends. I'm not even going to front on you guys because we did not know. until probably second year that Sintle allowance was meant to actually help us get through school. So this is me as a 34-year-old now trying to tell everybody that's going into this. Guys,
You know what I mean?
allowance asimetshameko, please use it to buy your books and
some
take
of us
care
were
of
paying
yourself.
rent with that allowance.
Hela.
We were paying rent and sending money home every month. More number 1.4.
Focus.
Yeah, yeah.
At least 400 to muisa ko kanye, because you know that your mama struggled.
Yeah,
And this is not a salary, but you share it with your mom. You know, so we need a mindset change.
Mindset change.
Mindset
We need
changes.
to go from how we used to think
Let's make it
and think
practical.
anew. Yeah.
Yes, these are the hardest times ever.
Yes.
We need a new crop of people by Langora that are going to take this economy somewhere.
Yes.
Please, yo,
People who would
diversify.
speak with
Gen Z.
authority. Young people who are going to speak with authority. Just invest in yourself. Learn public speaking skills. Be intentional about your mind.
Yes.
Mind is so beautiful. You can stretch it to any capacity.
That's
If you don't put it to waste, you can achieve a lot.
Yeah.
What did you study at tertiary?
BAC. Yeah.
What's that?
Botswana Accountancy College. Hey,
So you're an accountant
homies.
by profession.
Yes.
Yeah, but your mind, you can find yourself as a lawyer.
Yeah.
If you put your mind into it.
Yeah.
Some
Somebody
people are
actually
not
once
even
said
doing
I
what
should
they
go to
stud-
the States and study law
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of how I talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
'Cause-
we are multidimensional beings. So let's teach our young people. There's no unemployment. Or foreigners are stealing our job. Oh, we're going to kill them. You know,
Ish.
black on black violence.
Yeah.
That must stop. Let's just catch them young, TK.
Yeah.
Let's teach them, Gore. You have to be responsible at a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think before we come to a close, I one thing I admire about your journey was when you mentioned that you were in school and at the same time you were working. You know, most people now, I think even the youth, we tend to want to graduate first and then look for the experience instead of finding the experience now. Volunteer, like do an internship.
Yeah.
2 months, 3 months, you can build up.
Some go wimpy. Be a waitress at wimpy.
Just do
Make
something
use
that
of
will
your
introduce you to
Saturdays.
life.
Yeah.
Because I think we live in this bubble where, for example, when we're now introduced to this world where there's sexual harassment, we don't even know how to act. We can even just give in.
Bro,
because
talk about blessers. Blessers are targeting vulnerable girls. You know, we've got the world of social media and Instagrams and
Yes.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be popping on Instagram. They want an iPhone. So if we are not careful, we're going to want money from the wrong people. And it's
then we
an
have to trade
exchange.
things,
You see, and then we come with sugar baby. We call all these weird dictions. Sugar daddy, sugar mommy, you know, bentang, you know, bless us.
Yeah. We're giving them very, very nice names. I mean, let's
We are
be-
decorating them, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, technically, there was a point in time where the legal age to have sex was going to be changed to 18 or wanted to be changed to 18.
Yeah.
Honestly, I if I'm not mistaken, whatever that legal age is at this point, anybody that age and under, it's rape, it's defilement. We don't care if she said yes. We don't care if he said yes. They don't know what they're saying, okay? It's a child. But then similarly, if we're talking a 20, 30, 40-year age gap, are you certain that you, sir, or you, madam, are not manipulating this younger person, molding them into what you want them to be so that they can make you happy and satisfy your needs? Because there's always that risk. I think we don't have enough of these conversations with young girls in Africa specifically. Europeans, we also need to be talking to our young girls. If I'm not mistaken, I think the legal age in your Frances and your Germanys and them, it's like you're 14, 15, 16. It should not be allowed for a child to make certain decisions because they are still a child. But I would like to find out from you, TK, what is your personal advice to young people in media, to the men in media, and then to the women that have seen this kind of harassment but aren't really ready to come forward? Like, what can you say to them as a counselor to just give them that little that little shove to jump in the water with the rest of us and make sure the sharks disappear?
I think my advice to the men would be actually go for therapy. things like sex addiction exist. You might be going through something and you might not even know what it is, but there is something that is, we can't say wrong with you, but there is something that is just maybe wrong with your psyche. That you just need to just recalibrate, just get new coping skills, you know, and not take it out on an unsuspecting, unwilling victim.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So even also as men, I think it's wise for us to stop this locker room talk of trying to, you know, impress each other with body counts. So I think we need to change how we talk as men in our circles in the industry.
Yeah.
Right. And then to the women, I would say that it's okay to actually share your stories with someone that you can trust, someone you think can give you the best advice. Like Yvonne has mentioned, even having a mentor who has kind of walked through the same shoes as you, who can empathize or sympathize with you. They don't have to be your friend. They actually shouldn't be your friend because they're not objective.
True.
They might even,
each other as friends.
yeah, it can even be like a fruit of the poisonous tree.
Eish.
You know, you think that they're giving you the best advice. So if someone, let's say, is inspired by her story, they can reach out to her and say, hey, look, I'm not willing to publish anything, but I just want to maybe learn from you how you navigated something like this. Because when you were sharing your experience, I resonated with it. It's okay to reach out. And it's okay to also put people on blast, to expose people.
Yeah.
You know, often you find women saying, no, but if I expose, this man is going to lose his job, and then I'm going to be in the public eye, and people are going to cast me in a dark shadow. But like she was saying, if you're resilient, if you have assertiveness, you won't let anything that, yes, it can kind of affect you, but you now have to have that resilience where you now know, okay, this is where the line is. I will not let this then control me and define me. So it's now not letting because you know who you are. You know who Mo is. She knows what makes her Yvonne. If I come and tell her that, no, you are this such a person, you are the W word, the B word, she knows no. If I tell her, no, you got here because of bribing, she knows it's merit. It shouldn't affect her, how I think. She must look at me like I'm crazy. So having that self-confidence is very important. So like she was saying, therapy does help. You don't need to go for therapy just because something is wrong. You can just go there to just learn more about yourself, learn more about even your weaknesses, your strengths, right? So I think those are some of the things I would then just say to some of our viewers that are watching, and then over to you.
Wow, that was a mouthful. I agree with all of it. Yvonne, would you like to add something to that? I was going to ask you the same question, but I've said it all.
Have I? I've stolen from our guests.
You've also stolen from me, because now I don't really have any last words, but let me try and restructure this. Because you are an international journalist, and I am pretty sure there are lots of young women who are stepping into media and they would like to follow that path. Somebody might want to go to the BBC, somebody might want to go to the New York Times. Can you give them some advice on what steps they can start taking now in school and at their first jobs to make sure they qualify for that kind of international work?
Okay. You must hate comfort zone. You know, once you begin to hate that comfort zone, you'll begin to see a world full of opportunities. You know, get tired of eating the same food, reading the same news. I'm not blowing my own horn. I was tired of being on the front page week in, week out. Traveling the world alone. You know, from where I was working, to be honest, I felt like I was underutilized. You know, because you can't be the only one, you know, with all humility, you can't be the only one traveling. And it's not even the company taking me there. It's outside organizations saying we want Yvonne. So it's called hunger. Be hungry for growth, opportunities. Social media, make use of, there's so many opportunities. Hello, it's on Facebook. Don't just see what the page nyana tsa di tlhapa nyana. Se di sa reng tsena ko di page tsena gore di tla go ba go mo. The BBC contacted me via Messenger.
Wow.
Yes. And
Four
Shout out,
places.
BBC.
I am telling you.
I would think I'm being scammed.
I know,
I'm telling
right?
you. I am telling you, dude.
Yeah.
Yes. So your time is very precious. Let we spend it on social media.
Yeah.
You know, let people see your passion. Got your social media page.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
You're
true.
right.
I'm not saying don't leave. Leave.
Yeah.
Go out and you know have whatever you want to have, but make sure that you sell yourself. You are a person. You are your own brand. Why you second?
Yes, yes.
Hey, no one is gonna brand you before you brand yourself. So go ahead and just know that I want to ensure gore ke tla be ke le- not just BBC, not just New York Times, ke batla gore ke go UK Guardian,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
the Telegraph.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's called the language of the next level.
Yeah.
See yourself where you wanna be every day. Okay, in 10 years, ke batla gore be ke le in the diplomacy space. This is me. So I'm working at that.
Yeah.
So because every other month and week I do talks with the international focus and US embassies and I talk about diplomacy a lot, media diplomacy especially because learn to position yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the world
I
is
like
full
that.
of endless opportunities.
That's true.
But I'm gonna repeat this with the hunger. Be hungry for growth.
Yeah.
Die empty. That's what Miles Monroe say.
Yeah.
The grave is full of people with so many brilliant ideas
Yes.
and wealth. So make sure that you die empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. I really like what both of you have said. The truth is ultimately, once you have turned 21, Bahol, your life is entirely on you. I'm sure it's nice to have the support of mom and dad, granny, grandma, auntie, uncle, sister. I will also be the first person to tell you that in about 5 days, I'm calling my sister for some help. Probably in about 3 days, I'm going to call my mom for some help. But at the end of the day, where I wake up, how I wake up, where my career goes, what happens to me when I leave this door, this studio, is entirely on me. Yes, life will happen, bad things will happen, good things will happen, but for as long as I'm, excuse my French, sitting on my ass doing nothing, nothing is going to change. That is just the truth of my life. I would like to thank my co-host, Buffy TK, and my amazing guest, Yvonne.
Thank you.
For today's amazing, amazing chat. Like, whoo, guys, as I go through this process,
Yeah.
I'm learning things. I'm discovering things about my country. And I really hope that you are relating to some of these stories and that you're going to get out of your gate, make some phone calls, and change the Botswana we live in. Until next time on SECHABA, are you listening?